Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the river. Today we're going to talk about that fiscal responsibility that government has to ensure that everything's running right and all that. Most of the time, these guys are spending and spending, and they're getting insider information. They sit in the big Fed chair meetings in government and know what's going to fail and what's going to win. Then they turn around and walk to their office and they get on the computer and trade off their IPO stocks, whatever fucking shit is. But if your name's Martha Stewart or Snoop Dogg, get your prison fatigues ready, and you better have a cold stroll, buddy, because you're going to the penitentiary. You see how it works? Set of rules for us and a set of rules for them. Congress is still being paid on this shutdown, this pardon me, we're expecting a workman in the house today. But the congressmen still get paid their salaries, their hot spas and all their bullshit. I can tell you all this. We're in a big damn mess. I'm not going to get off the money thing with this state of Washington. Today we're having a dumpster fire. The governor is. Yeah, so we've got about $15 million he's burning up right now. Many wants more and want to raise your taxes. Gave L&I $30 million to develop a medical record-keeping system for their claims that come in. 10 years ago is when they got the money. And, the money's gone. So there's a $30 million dumpster fire at Labor and Industry. And they won't or can't answer for it. Whatever. The money's gone. $3 million. King County, an employee embezzled over 11 years. It only took 11 years to figure it the fuck out. That's oversight. That's called jerking me off, give you the old reach around, while they're tapping your booty. I think we're all pretty much tired of it. Somebody asked me, how come I wear this here? Am I authorized? Was I a POW? Well, no, I was not a POW, and I did not serve in combat. Yeah, but let me tell you something. Anybody can purchase these patches, the flags, and fly that because there is a not-for-profit again, and I think that it's a good thing. I haven't looked into that, but anybody can buy a POW, MIA patch, flag, a pin, whatever, and wear it. It's not something you authorize to wear in a uniform and all that. But I sewed this thing on here myself. You can see the stitching on that. That's hand sewed. My mom was a seamstress, so I learned how to sew, and I was the only guy in my unit who was allowed to sew his own patches on. So, but anyways, we got another dumpster fire going. We're just burning money up left and right. So I've decided that if I'm capable and alive in 2028, I'm going to run for the governor's office of Washington State. I'm just a regular guy. I even have a disability. I have some wicked rheumatoid, got that going on. I mean, look at my hand, I had it operated on here on May 13th. Look at that. And I've lost the use of my thumb now. I can't bend I bend it here, but I can't bend the thumb there like you can that, see? If I'd have known that, I wouldn't have done it. But anyways, dumpster fire today in Puyallup, Washington. We're getting buku revenue on building, and Pierce County, just the building's going crazy, the commercial end of it. Housing has slowed down. I worked for the developer for many years, and they were going to build 15 homes, but they got to the project, and then the county made them put in this big drainage thing at the cost of millions of dollars. And so they're going to sell a lot as is, ready to build. It's got all utilities and plumbing and the drain and all this crap in it. And this is where, you can't just flip a switch when prices come down, mortgage rates come down, this and that, the other. It's not just flipping a switch. In fact, these guys, that's it. And so they'll sell it ready to build, make a profit on what they did. But they realize they can't make a profit on the house. With housing prices are now coming down, as they would. Like during the pandemic, the Zillow and all those dickheads put a mathematician up there to make an algorithm. And I saw the guy. I watched an interview with him. Little tall, skinny guy, looked like he crawled out of his basement after there for 6 months, dirty, wrinkled looking shirt on, Coke bottle glasses, and that one guy manipulated the whole fucking system. It turns out he was wrong, because about the end of the pandemic, the prices flipped, and you think these relatively smart people with the capability to purchase homes would realize that. But they don't. I know a guy during that period of time, and he said, I'm buying this house in Wisconsin, and any price that comes in, my bid's $5,000 more. Well, he's upside down. Market manipulation. That's right. So, we know that Martha Stewart went to prison, a federal prison. She is a convicted felon. My mom loves Martha Stewart. One day I walked in a cooking show, and Snoop Dogg, all right, they're cooking. A cooking show. And Snoop Dogg was, they tried to, convict him of something. And, it seems to be a pretty good guy to me. You got to watch out for government, folks. They're going to stick it to you where they can. And especially with people who behold to their leaders for their job. Well, let's face it, if they say, well, Jim, you either do what I say or you're fired, you lose all your benefits, your income, maybe I have a house, mortgage, car payments, kids and all that crap. Well, you can't lose that, so you're going to go, oh, well, I'll just couch out of this motherfucker and do what I'm told to do. Good job, Trump. You're a real, and this circus of the generals meeting, what a catastrophe. We all get to see this man in action. And this Pete Hegseth, a very junior officer as far as military is concerned, up in front of these generals, basically, and I felt as though he's berating these people. These are experienced men who have been in the military a very long time, and I suspect there will be some retirements coming, because they want, you serve 30 years, you get fired, you lose it all. You don't get a pension, I don't believe. Stanley McChrystal, a Special Forces officer, a tough bird. He lives right out here in Washington. I'm not going to say where. Safety and security. And I'm not sure if he lost his pension. I don't know that. But there's a good chance when a military person, in excitement, you can disclose things. And I can disclose some things about a tank, but I'm sure the goon squad would show up here. I developed a way to fire systems a lot quicker than what I was trained to. But anyways, back to the generals. They're I don't mean to drift off, but the generals, just sat there stoically, and rightfully so. My hat's off to the generals. bald head and all. Thank God, because you cannot use a military force against a civilian, and they know that. That they have a sworn oath to the Constitution, just like the president does, but he doesn't care what he swears an oath. His oath is to him, to the Trump Tower, I just don't know where we're going in this day and age with this big fucking mess. To the young Washingtonians who, our budget is completely upside down. You owe a lot of money. Our federal budget is upside down. All y'all owe a lot of money, and you're paying the Chinese the interest on the debt. It's only $800 billion. Let's just buy the debt, pay it off, and we'll take a loan on it and pay the interest to us. I mean, that sounds reasonable. We got to pay the interest anyways. Let's just print up the money, give it to the Chinese, and we know the money's not worth shit anyways. Houses these days are going for astronomical prices. I talked to my brother yesterday in Northern California. They are built, just above Sacramento. There's Sacramento Airport's north of Sacramento, and I was watching them built down there several years ago, and just astronomical growth. The nice thing is up there is here's the airport up north, and you can just put a rail line to pick everybody up, little drop-off points all along this housing and area with grocery stores and just thousands of homes. And those average house homes are about $750,000. So I don't know how I'm going to afford that. And they're bedroom communities, so when you open your window, you're looking at your neighbor's wife taking a shower. That might be good if she's good looking. Yeah. Message to the young kids: don't eat the fucking cheese puffs. Good God. Those things will last on a shelf for 10 years. The preservatives in them are so loaded. Here I trail off, and I know it, but I wanted to talk about the kidney dialysis places popping up. I learned about this when I was doing the taxi company. And, oh boy, they're all, the technicians that get in, the doctors one doctor I take there, and they're saying diet. One veteran I picked up from Vietnam veteran, he was an amputee, and I had to help him out, get him situated. He told me it was alcohol. He was at least honest. He was at least being truthful. There's people that I picked up that, it's just diet. Well, we know you had a shitty lifestyle. This one lady I picked up, ex-dope fiend and all this. Well, those things that happen. Just blows the mind. Like my friend Kevin at E-Cakers developed a kidney cancer. The guy didn't drink. He doesn't smoke. Doesn't use drugs. Never been addicted to anything. And yet he comes down with this horrible... I've been following him, and I'd ask anybody to follow it. Now, I don't know what his diet was. Sometimes people eat shitty stuff. I don't think Kevin did that, though. I couldn't imagine him sitting there eating them friggin' cheese puffs. Garbage. Crap. And so I've been following him in this horrible treatment in New York. God, if you're going to get some disease, don't get it in New York. Here in Washington, we have some of the finest cancer places in the world. The treatments, Fred Hutch, Children's, we have Virginia Mason, and the really fine hospitals that really know what they're doing. And the doctors, if you're in pain or something, they'll still treat your pain. Now, Kevin's out there, and I fucking won't give him a Percocet because they're worried he may get addicted to it. Well, what the fuck is that? If you're dying, Anyways, back to his kidney disease. then he was urinating blood. He had clots in his bladder. They went in and cleaned the bladder out and pulled part of his prostate out. And unfortunately for Kevin, he came on the other day. And what he didn't know at the time was that he would lose a difficult thing for men to talk about, our manhood, the ability to get erections, ejaculate, make love to your spouse. And that's sad. That's sad. Here's to you, Kevin. I know you don't drink or nothing, but here's a little shot of vodka. And this is what I drink. A Guinness. One a day. Not every day, but one a day. That's all I have today. Recommended by my doctor. This is not a paid advertisement either. But it's good beer and it's good for you. Here's to y'all. What I've noticed with relationship to the dialysis and stuff is the amount of these sugar beers. These, I'm not going to say the names because the last thing I need is a fucking lawsuit. But you know who I'm talking about, Mike. Double, and those other ones now, the Crow Tree and all this shit. They're loaded with this sugar and alcohol. And you want to get a bud. You want to drink, yeah, you get a drink. But so many of these people are becoming ill with kidney cancers, kidney dialysis, kidney failure. And the numbers are increasing. And we're going, well, what in the fuck is going on here? When Christine Gregoire, our former Attorney General and Governor, won a lawsuit against Big Tobacco, that didn't stop tobacco. She won the lawsuit. And in her time as governor, I think we had a rainy day fund of $700 million or whatever. That seems to have disappeared. Under Jay Leno, there I go again. Jay Inslee. The money's gone. Okay. So what was the rainy day? Can we get a line item description of where all this fucking money went? No. Maybe to take these dialysis clinics. And then here comes our new governor, Bob Ferguson, who was a former attorney general, who in fact took on Big Vape. It didn't stop Big Vape. The tobacco lawsuit didn't stop Big Vape from coming in here. And now we have vape products for kids, He tried to sue Bob Ferguson tried to sue Big Vape, and he lost. You know why? Because these companies learned from Christian Gregoire what they did wrong. They improvised, they overcome, and adapted. So here we have more addictive fucking bullshit. And I'm addicted to nicotine. I've quit several times, and just my own bullshit excuse problems in life. I started smoking it, but I'm going through a whole new program here soon with I'll be living in the Veterans Village in Orting. My own little place. My own little cabin. I went and saw it and I liked it. I said, yeah, I can do this, but there's no drinking. Of course, no drugs. I don't use drugs anyways. And God bless all the people, the women who, Tulsi Gabbard was young. I don't know how young she was when she went in the military, but she volunteered. I believe she served in theater of combat. If you can do your job, you can do your job. I think that I actually was a volunteer fireman, and I worked alongside two different female firefighters at different places. They weren't at the same station. You want to fight? Oh boy, here, fight this one. She is a tough bitch, Mo. And then another one was Tony. She was a Tacoma firefighter. You're gonna get your ass beat, son. These women don't take no prisoners. And I would definitely trust my life with either one of them. Yeah, and not everybody can do that, you guys. Just like not everybody's an electrician, a plumber, not everybody's in the trades. You have IT guys with nice, pretty hands that like to, and they're good at it, whatever they do. But let's not, this Pete Hegseth is a joke. And remember, we only have 3 more years of this crap and 1 month. Oh, God. How did this get like this? The difference between this MAGA and the way left and the middle and the right and the way right. That's just too much, you guys. Let's get some common sense back into the narrative. And we have to start thinking about young people and how we're going to overcome our differences, our financial problems. The young kids, I tell you this here in Washington, unless you've got some substantial help from your parents or you really lucked out, got a great job, you're not going to own a house here. We're selling it to foreign investors. And this is something as hopefully your future governor, I am going to put a fucking halt to that. And if I find out it's a foreign country holding American land and doing this, charging us exorbitant prices and putting our elderlies, our disabled, our veterans, and anyone needy out in the street, I'm going to fix your ass. We're taking that shit back. I'm going to enact a law to take it back and throw your ass out and keep your money. Get rent prices down to where people can afford it. I worked in the trade industries as a carpenter and an electrician, and I know how to put up, give me 50 acres, and I will put up homes in a row, and I will probably use a union contractor because they have every trade they need, from the foundation on up to finish, and come right through in a row, one trade behind the other, putting these up. We don't need sprinkler systems. They're only single story. They're very fast, very quick, and most efficient. And yeah, we will put you out, halfway to Eatonville. You don't want to view Mount Rainier in the country? And they'll say, well, we don't want that out here. Well, that's tough shit. This is where it's got. These people need to be housed now. Not the 10-year plan. Oh, fuck, man. Oh, for fuck's sake. 10 years down the road, we'll all be dead. And I am not going to put up with the elderly. And I realize some of these elderlies I see out there during my routes and stuff, maybe some of them have committed some horrible crimes, and they're out there because nobody will let them in. And that's a possibility. But these social workers I've seen that have worked with me to get me housed, I've seen them in action here at the Ording Soldiers Home, which has been there since 1891, housing homeless veterans, and still doing it to this day. Is there a problem here? I think there is, folks. There's a huge problem. And there's this antipathy, too. I mean, we step over the dead veteran with his sign, homeless, need help. We step over his dead fucking body. It's just normal daily stuff now. We've become used to it. I'm glad I have my roommate, Mike. His son's owner lives here, and I'm glad he's got a little dog. Bothers me at night. He sleeps on my feet. They're more worried about animals up here than they are people. When it comes to donate for animals to keep a homeless dog home, it's a big deal. But I'll be moving to the Veterans Village pretty soon here, several days maybe, and I'm so glad for the owners who, Scott Hegg, Mike Hegg, is a personal friend of mine now. I will call him brother because he didn't have to do what he did for me. He could have left my sorry ass out there, and he didn't. He said, Jimmy, come on over. We got a place for you. And that's a true brother. He didn't ask me for money, nothing. They did ask for expert advice on electrical. We're doing some electrical upgrades. But they're doing the work, and it is all permitted work. So thank you, Scott, and your family. God bless you. Right there. Thank you so much. Seeing me through another hard time in my life. And I know what it is to live on the river. And that's why I call my program The River. That low place where only water flows, man. Where you go when you're lonely or if you want to fish and have a good time. But I've spent months on the river through the winter in the Valley of the Trinity, Northern California. Holy shit, the Steiner Valley. Fucking kept 8 degrees. And it's 15 hours of darkness, maybe more. And finally the sun will come up behind the mountain. And you only have it so long, 6-7 hours, and it's back to darkness, man. And it's fucking cold. But I never was really cold. I learned how when the sun came out, when it was 30 degrees, I could take my shirt off and right there, and I would hold my hands to the sun coming and close my eyes, and I could feel tender morsels of sunlight hitting me, along with morsels of cold. But I learned how to separate the cold from the heat and draw the heat in. And it was one of the most wonderful feelings I've ever had. Here comes the cops. But, we all have to take a responsibility for where we're at, no matter what side you're on. I think some of the kids are a little too radical. And I have alternative family members. We all do. Most people won't admit it. And that's the way it is. We love each other. We're still my family. There's still, someone said, Jim, somebody went and did something to one of my nephews or something. I'd say, okay, let's saddle up. Start grabbing my guns and my shit. Let's go find this motherfucker and get some payback. But I don't do that. I don't have to worry about that. It's easy to be a telephone tough guy. But, I say God bless everybody on their life journey and good luck to you no matter who you are, no matter where you're from. I've grown up with Mexican people all my life. I have very good family friends that are Mexican. I have 2 Mexican niece and a nephew. An illegal alien pop, my niece. He's back in Mexico. She's up here taking care of the kids, and you're paying for it. The welfare, yeah. You can't collect from somebody from down in Mexico. That's how it works, folks. Just a hell of a thing. What I recommend for everybody, you take a piece of ginger and you knock the skin off and get you a chunk of that, put it in your cheek and your mouth. It's real good for gut health and mouth and all that. Kills bacteria and whatever. That's my recommendation for the day. And also for adults, a little tap of vodka. Don't drink a pint. So I'll be coming to you here when I make my transition to the Veterans Village. Of course, no drinking. No drugs. I don't use drugs, but these are the things here that probably kill me if I don't quit. It's a habit I picked up in the military. I was 18. You know, another thing is like these cigarettes will, when they manufacture them, I talked with this chemist who used to work at tobacco. They take an ammonia-based product, one of the chemicals, and of course they put it in the tobacco. And what the ammonia does, and this is his words, is it enhances the nicotine's effect on humans and enhances absorption. And he said, Jim, it's literally nicotine on crack. Because we know if you're a smoker, you go out to dinner with family, friends, whatever. Half the table vacates right after they eat because they got to have a cigarette. And that's the crack effect. People who don't smoke can sit there and enjoy conversation and just relax a little while, let your food settle. Not a smoker. And these are terrible, terrible things to get addicted to when you're young. And I get it. The young kids like that little vape pen. But if you can find a way to get through life without this kind of stuff, these addictive, nasty, these are killers. These can and will kill you. And if Big Tobacco wants to come after me, go right on a fucking head. By the time this gets to trial, I'll probably be dead anyways. I got hooked on these in the army in Germany, and I was 18 when I got there in June of 1980. I was 18 still. And the word to the wise, don't smoke. They'd give us a ration card for 4 cartons of cigarettes a month plus 21 single packs. And then you got your whiskey rations, 4 gallons a month. 4 gallons? I haven't drank 4 gallons at that time in my life. And of course, it was post-Vietnam. The thinking was different. Most of our senior NCOs were severe alcoholics, but you would never mention that or bring that up. That was, just the way it was. You kept your mouth shut. You smelled alcohol in someone's breath, you shut the fuck up. And anyways, any young person thinking of going in the military, I'll tell you this, don't think you can't get killed in the motor pool in peacetime. I have seen some close calls of deadly shit flying through the air, cranes, overhead cranes, and an aircraft hangar ripped out, come to the ground. Of course, we were all arrested on that one. CID arrested us. Fucking John Allen, dumb shit. Didn't unhook the tank, took off. You got to unhook the crane from the tank. Yeah. Brook Park, Ohio. His dad was a fire chief. I did his sister during leave. So, meanwhile, back at the ranch. So think about where we're going with all this, folks, all this debt, all this spending out of control. Payday's here. The dollar's not going very far. And the average median income here in Puyallup is somewhere around 65,000. Now, if you got a partner, a wife, a spouse, whatever, you double that income. You qualify to buy a house at $120,000 a year to qualify for an overpriced piece of shit. These ones they put out here by, beautiful view of Mount Rainier. when I drove the cab during the pandemic, all these Eagle Ridge and, Sunrise Boulevard and all this, and the beautiful homes. And the smell of the landfill. In the hot, warm, smuggy summer night, you can see the steam rising from the landfill. And it stinks terrible. And I've asked people, I said, does it smell at your house? They're like, yeah, everything stinks. And so sell the homes during the winter. They don't smell so bad. You might not smell it. But during the summer on a hot, muggy night, oh yeah, you're going to smell it, buddy. There you go. That's no, real estate people are smart. If you're a real estate person, you don't bring up the stench, okay? You talk about the view. Okay, perfect. Thanks. But I really want to send another shout out to Kevin and Bridget at Eek Acres. God bless you guys. Hanging in there. And we're all pulling for you, man. This kidney cancer has turned into a nasty booger. And I don't know. And it befuddles the mind. But God bless you, Kevin, Bridget. It befuddles the mind because, and I'm not going to admit, I've treated my body like a garbage dump sometimes. And Kevin never drank, smoked, any of that stuff. And so it's like my little nephew gets leukemia, and those things just happen. I've known a guy that smoked and drank, 90-something years old, and I don't know, forgot what they said. No, it wasn't smoking or drinking that killed him. It was something else. I don't know what it was, but nobody would tell me. But they said it wasn't smoking and drinking, so there's some denial in there, too. You just never know, and these things just happen. And if you're a woman of faith, and believe in Jesus and God, and we accept it as a test of our faith. And for those that don't survive this stuff, it's awful because you question that faith and you go, where are you, God? Where are you, Jesus? Take this illness away. Come into my heart. Forgive me for my sins. Wash me clean. In Jesus' name, amen. But it just doesn't work that way. I've lost multiple members through medical events. I've watched people die slowly over 10 months. And I was praying for their death to relieve me. I was obligated as a brother, be there. I was. But towards the end, I just couldn't handle it. And I said, God, relieve me. And the priest came out and said, Jim, time to come in here and say your goodbyes to your brother. I said, okay. And he goes, then you got to leave. You're a mess. You're a fucking wreck. And I was. But my faith is restored. Jesus Christ, God. Whatever lies in stores, lies in stores. And good luck. And God bless all you young people in your life journey. I hope we can figure this mess out together. Have a good day.